So you talk about Nami Amidabutsu. So, this is part of a nenbutsu, but, nenbutsu is a little bit difficult for people who never exposed to this tradition to understand. So can you briefly mention what nenbutsu is about?
Okay, the first part, N-E-M, nem means to think on. Butsu is Buddha. So nenbutsu is to think of Buddha. In other words, it's to be one. As I said, it is an experience. And when we can experience that we are one with light and life, we're part of our parents, grandparents, and so forth, there is this sense of belonging. This is actually maybe a strange sense for all mammals, where there's a sense that we have to earn our acceptance. But this teachings tells us we are accepted just as is. And with that thought, it allows us to accept others. So nenbutsu is the words Namo Amidabutsu, which can be shortened to a chant, Nam Mandav, Nam Mandav, Nam Mandav. And that
this is chanting, like basically it's a chanting, so they're asking asking Amitabha for a favor, or
the way I like to explain it is that it shifts. Usually the mind has that when we encounter a deity, it's that we request something, that we want to achieve a different place. And I like to explain it in terms of gratitude, of receiving, that we're not asking for anything, we're actually saying thank you. So it's a shift. Shinran talks about a crosswise leap. In other words, a shift in perspective. If I were to shift my view sideways, I would see things from a different angle. And basically, it's just saying that rather than complain about things that we don't have, there are far more things that we could appreciate. So it's not asking for what we don't have, it's realizing all the things that we do have in life, which we have taken for granted. That is a fundamental shift that many of us miss because we have this tendency to think of the ego, to think of survival. But those who have lived the Shin Buddhist path really appreciate life regardless of our material wealth. And we see that in the pioneers who brought this from Japan, who led a very meager type lifestyle and yet had full lives because they were spiritually rich. They really appreciated whatever they had. And this goes toward the more spiritual aspects of the end of life. In other words, do we, at the end of life, think about what we didn't have? Or can we say thank you, appreciate all that we have lived, regardless of the number of years? That the possibility of living a human life is impossible. If we really look at the statistical reality of being born as a human, it is almost impossible. There's a poem that goes that if we go back 20 generations, that would take 1 million people. That's parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and etc. Going back 20 generations would involve 1 million people.
Wow.
With that in mind, we really appreciate that we are here, that we made it at all, and that no amount of material wealth for a single individual will make us happy. But this awakening, and Buddha means to be awakened, awakening to this reality that I am alive, I am a human, and now I'm able to repay that debt, being awake, again, by helping others. So the practice in Shin Buddhism is Namo Amidabutsu, waking up, appreciating what we have, serving others. So it is a point, rather than looking to the future to gain more, it is so that we can repay. And we repay because we are awake to this reality that we have been receiving this from all others.
Sometimes